Zach LaVine next to LaMelo Ball. I don't know if that's going to be the best defense in the world. Might be two cones. It's Guys, what do you guys think of that? It's good for the Bulls because the Bulls would go like, okay, give us Gordon Hayward and maybe a young dude like James Booknight and a first round pick, and we're good. We want cap flexibility, and we take the pick. I don't even know. Like, I don't know what Zach LaVine's trade value is because there's a great quote from former Knicks Scott Perry, GM Scott Perry, and I'm not going to sit here and be like Scott Perry was a good GM, but he said this quote: Zach LaVine could score the basketball. Does he impact winning? Zach LaVine has been to one playoff series in 9 years. He's played it in a total of 4 playoff basketball games. He's making 40, 43, 46, and $49 million over the next several years as a guy who at this point has not impacted winning to the level that his money says he should impact, end quote. Which I thought was actually like a really, really good quote in terms of painting the picture of like what's going on here, okay? Like how this actually like affects, you would say, the perception of Zach LaVine in the league. And yeah, I don't think it's that great of perception that he doesn't impact winning. And I think that's where people are going to be surprised how much lower his trade value is than you initially thought. So again, it's $40 million. If you look at like the Hornets salary cap situation, they can really get there with Gordon Hayward's salary. Gordon Hayward's expiring. So that's probably going to how you want to do it. It's 31.5 for Gordon Hayward. You throw in, like I said, James Booknight and maybe JT Thor and Bryce McGowan's. Right there, you combine between those guys 8 million. Between James Booknight, JT Thor, and Bryce McGowan's, that's 8 million, and then 31.5 million for Gordon Hayward. But all those guys are, except JT Thor and Bryce, aren't expirings, and James Booknight is on an expiring. So you basically get 2 expiring deals and 2 guys on multi-year deals. And honestly, that's not that bad of a trade for the Bulls. You get cap flexibility and you get young dudes. You can't really complain about that. And for the Hornets, they get Zach LaVine. Again, I think maybe if you can look, I think if you can maybe try to do it, there isn't really another deal you can do though. There isn't. And that's the big problem right here is if you do it, it's really around Gordon Hayward because Terry Rozier the next deal possible would be Terry Rozier and PJ Washington. That's horrible. Okay. That's horrible. But nobody cares for James Bouknight, let's be honest. And JT Thor's cool, and so is Bryce, but if you're trying to win now, they're not on the same timeline. And right here, this deal actually makes the Hornets better, supposedly, according to Fanspo. You'll see it on your screen right now as I queue it up. But look at this. So what we got going on right here is, booyah. So Hornets would get just Zach LaVine straight up. Technically, they would be $438,000 more. And even though they gave up, like, supposedly this deal makes them better defensively and offensively. This gives right here, James Bouknight, I believe his option was not picked up. So James Bouknight's an expiring, so is Gordon Hayward. And then JT Thor and Bryce McGowan's are the only 2. Like, I actually really like those guys for the Bulls' rebuilding efforts. But besides that, like, yeah, that's it. Like, maybe you throw in a couple picks, like, not even picks. Like, I'd throw you 2 seconds, maybe a first round pick swap. I'm not giving you much, bro. It's Zach LaVine. Like, he's not, like Scott Perry said, he's not a guy who impacts winning. And no offense to him, like, Zach LaVine's a very entertaining guy, and I think if he's on a team like the Heat, a team like the Lakers, a team where he's the third option, great. And where, like, there's defense around him, because he's a high quality offensive player, like a great threat in transition and in the half court setting, isos, like crazy athlete even after the knee injury, like can create his own shot like the best of him, and his catch and shoot numbers are above average, and he can defend, albeit from a very low point. He has a 6'8" wingspan on a 6'5" frame. He's not inept, but look, it's not perfect. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think? And if you guys are in agreement with me, I don't know. I just don't know if it's the most worthy thing that they should do. So let me hear your thoughts, but that's basically it from me.